After watching all the videos of today's runs, not all of them were posted in the last video, but there were a lot of crashes. I cannot believe this thing survived all of them, but I do credit the survival of the truck to the big tires that everybody told me not to use and the roll cage, so maybe even the wing on the back, because that does take a lot of the abuse that would otherwise happen to the vehicle. It's a flexible panel, but one of the things I was trying to figure out is my controllability issues. I was having to gingerly increase speed, and by the time I got it up to about 25 miles an hour, according to the GPS, it was already passing me, and I was having to look into the sun, and it was just windy and gusty, and anytime the wind would blow real hard, it would literally move the car 3 feet in one direction or the other, and it was sustained over 25, gusting higher today. That's no excuse. It's just the conditions that existed. And I came home a little smarter than when I left, and I decided that it really needed some help, because when you try to really pin the throttle, it's got a lot of torque roll that happens, just due to the fact that this mofo motor is extremely powerful. It's got a lot of torque. It's a 4100, and it gets it. Well, when it gets it, it turns the drive shaft one way and the body the other really hard, and that twist, that torque twist, was making it uncontrollable. And I remembered on my Rift how when I added a rear sway bar, it dramatically improved the handling of that, and I could just gun the throttle and it wouldn't try to raise a tire in the air and flip over and go crazy. So I thought, why don't we add something that you've been looking at the entire time since I started this video, and that is, why not add a sway bar to the SCX24? I don't know that that's ever been done. I don't know that it has ever existed. I tried to YouTube it and find out if I could buy one, and I did not see one. I eBayed it. Sorry, I didn't YouTube it, but I eBayed it. So I don't know if a sway bar has ever been added to an SCX24. It probably has, but this one's mine, and I took it out front just about 10:30 at night here, dark street, no headlights, and the wind was a lot lower, but the dramatic thing is it pulled pretty straight. Once I kind of got it lined up, I could not pin the gas, but really be aggressive with it, and it accelerated smooth and straight. I've got a 2S battery in it right now. 3S will be a little more aggressive, but it was perfect. The other thing I did was I realigned the rear suspension geometry a little bit. It was dog walking a little bit because I didn't quite have the arm lengths right on the top two not control arms, but suspension links in the back. Now they match. Now it's perfectly straight down the middle, and it was a totally different truck. The steering was centered, and another thing, I need to cough for a second. Hold on. I'm back. The other thing that was good that I'll tell my competitors is, when you make your speed run, dial your dual rate all the way down, because if you have a centered steering to begin with, you don't need a whole lot of steering, and a lower dual rate will make the turns more gentle. So take it or leave it. It helped me, and I put down some pretty straight runs out there with this. The sway bar works. I'm not exactly going to tell everybody how I built it, but just by looking at it, it's pretty awesome. And this is a really nice addition to the truck. So build it if you want to. Don't build it if you don't. I don't recommend building it if you're actually going to keep crawling, but this is a sand drag car. And next year at the Iowa RC Outlaws event, I think this could beat most of the 10 scale cars. It's fast, and I'm pretty excited about it. I will make a couple of modifications for when I sand drag it, just to keep some debris out of the motor. I'm going to have to put some kind of a shield around it to keep the sand away. But That's beyond what we're going to talk about right now, because this is a land speed record car to begin with. But I did make some great improvements tonight, and it's ready for the next run. I think the next time out, if I have good conditions, I have a fairly good chance. I'm not going to make a prediction that I will break the record, because it turns out it's harder than I thought it was. And I got to give a lot of credit to Lee and Matthew, because they've put down some good runs. They're both in the 30-mile-per-hour club. I'm still in the mid 20s, I believe. I did nearly get this topped out front of my house with a 2S. So it's faster in front of my house than it was at that nice wide road today that we tried the speed run on earlier. But I'm not going to claim 30 because I didn't GPS it. The GPS is another issue. I'm not going to mount it on the top of the car this time, because that added a lot of really high weight, and it also took away from the aerodynamics of the car. Right now, air can flow over the hood, through the car, and over the wing. And when I put the GPS there, it basically blanked the wing because it completely blocked this whole area. So on the next run, I am going to tape the GPS to the back of the car. And in fact, if there's room, I might even tape it under the car, because that would be even better from a center of gravity standpoint. I could actually use its weight to lower the center of gravity of the vehicle. I do like the idea of it not being in the airflow, though, especially if it's horizontal behind the car. I'll figure out the best way to mount it, but this thing is ready for its next run. It has a beautiful rear sway bar system on it, and look out, guys. I make improvements every time I go out, and by doing that, it will naturally get faster and faster and faster. And if the bar stays the same, I'll eventually, by default, by making it faster each time, eventually it'll go past the record, and I think it's ready to do it right now. But good luck to everybody else who's trying to do it, and we'll talk to y'all later. I'll try to put a run down tomorrow night if I get home in time. Actually, I won't have time tomorrow night. It'll be at least Tuesday or Wednesday. We'll check for good weather on those days, and see if we can't get it done. Talk to y'all later.